up, y'all? It's Financial Finesser dropping another video for you all. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, comment, and like. Whatever particular order, just do it. Like, comment, subscribe. I always get them all mixed up. But the point is, definitely subscribe to see more of my videos on my channel. I am covering my debt-free journey, which is such a huge thing to me, and I want to share that with you all. Today, I do have something special planned to talk about. I would say disclaimer, I am a huge nerd, so I enjoy reading about stuff like this and applying them to my life. So today, I am making this video to discuss behavior change. I think we underestimate how much of getting out of debt has to involve our willingness to change our behavior. So there's this one theory. It's called the trans-theoretical theory, or the trans-theoretical model, or simply the behavior change theory. It's basically a theory that describes a person's willingness to change their behaviors. And since my page is all about getting out of debt, I'm going to be walking us through this process of behavior change theory and relating it to my willingness and our willingness collectively to get out of our debt. So the big question is, are you really ready to get out of your debt? And what determines that? So according to this theory, and I will drop a link below so that you can read more about this on your own time. Reading is fundamental. Don't take it out of my mouth. Take it out of the mouth of a book. It was a psychologist, I don't remember his name, but he discovered that there's actually 6 phases, or I should say he theorizes that there's 6 phases a person goes through before actually changing their behavior. So those 6 phases are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and then relapse. This theory has been used to describe people's behavior from eating right, exercising, and drug addiction. And so I'm going to actually be relating it to getting out of debt because I think like those same principles are really relevant. So for number 1, we have pre-contemplation, y'all. So pre-contemplation is a phase for people who, they have zero cares about where their money is going. They have very few worries about what their money is doing. Y'all, they are straight YOLO. This is kind of like that ignorance is bliss phase. That's a phase that I kind of identify with. I think I was in this phase in college. I was in this phase after I graduated. Although I still was kind of like paying off bills, I was still swiping, y'all, that credit card. People in this phase don't have any clue what their money is doing because they're very busy and preoccupied with swiping their credit card. They are swiping their credit card on any and everything they possibly can, and there are very many different reasons that people swipe their credit card and justifications for that. But at the end of the day, each time you swipe that card, you're literally building more debt, not wealth. So people are more focused on just getting the things that they want and that they need. They're not really thinking too much about what that means for their money in the future, because who cares? That's the pre-contemplation phase. No judgment if that's where you're at. I think I lived in that phase for probably like 6 years. Yeah, that was me. But I mean, it was kind of like where I was at the time, not because I didn't want to do better, but really because I didn't know how to do better. So that's kind of like where that's at. It's not that you're just like
a total moron and you just don't want to be wise with your money.
You just don't understand why that's important. So that's that. The next phase is it's called the contemplation phase. So this is probably the phase where a person wonders, where did my money actually go? You don't really have a clue where it went. I was in this phase for about 2 years of just acknowledging that I was broke, but not really knowing why I was broke. And I didn't know how to even fix that. I don't know. So I definitely understand why someone would be in that phase for a long time, but you really don't know how to fix the issue. Which, ironically, fixing the issue would change the fact that a person is broke. Which a lot of people will debate me on, are you really broke because it's your behavior?
Yes.
Or are you really broke because it's circumstance? Probably
both.
But Contemplation phase, nevertheless, is the phase where somebody is really, really like wondering, like, maybe I should fix this. Maybe there's something I can do. Or maybe I'm just going to be broke. I've heard people tell me I'm meant to be broke. I don't think I'm meant to make money. I don't think I'm meant to have money. I've even heard I don't even think I'm meant to be wealthy. What do you think? Next phase is preparation phase. So with preparation phase, this is the time where a person is watching my YouTube video regularly every single week. They've subscribed, they like, they've commented because they want more advice on how they can manage their money better. They've also read a few books. Speaking of which, I did read a few books. This was a great book and resource for me. Stay tuned for the next few videos. I will be reviewing Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University plan because I think there's a lot of things to say about this. Mostly good, and some bad, mainly because I was ratchet with money. Next, is it necessary to swipe this credit card? No. But people have different opinions about that, so you're talking about it. You are also referring to my last video where you make a list of all your unnecessary subscriptions and delete them. So you're deleting things that you are subscribed to that you don't actually use. Who would subscribe to something they don't use? Me. Oh my God. I had so many unnecessary subscriptions that I just forgot about. And like these little phone apps charge you like every year. And it's like $15 a year. It's like, cut it out, guys. Just cut it out, okay? Save your money while you can. You're also making a list of your debt from smallest to largest. You're snowballing it, which I will make a video about the debt snowball. But you're listing all your debts that you have, arranging them from smallest to largest, and putting the dates that they come out every month so that you don't miss a payment. So that's what that preparation looks like, y'all. We got to prepare for this before we do it. Next phase, after you prepare, you're like, okay, I have a list of my debts. I know when they come out. I know what they are. I've cut out necessary subscriptions. I've saved money by doing so, right? Now we're going to move into the action phase. So you make that monthly financial plan, also known as a budget, which I hate the word budget because it just sounds like it's just
a budget.
But you're making your monthly financial plan. You're doing it. You can do it. You sit down. You have a monthly meeting with your spouse, your accountability partner, which I've discussed how, your accountability partner can't just be anybody. But, you decide who that is. And you start knowing the habit of, like, what your finances are doing every month. Because, like, let's face it, our money will talk about us behind our back and do stuff behind our backs if we don't really get a grip on that. So you've cut out your necessary expenses and you've got this. You totally got this. Like, you know what days your money comes out. You're making your necessary payments and you're even snowballing that debt. And it's scary because you're not used to making a monthly financial plan. You're not used to being disciplined. You're not used to telling some people no. But it's all worth it. And by the time you're in this action phase for long enough, you're now in that maintenance phase where you have been budgeting for a while, for maybe like 4 to 5 months, and you have the habit of looking at your income. You have the habit of looking at your expenses. You've saved your $1,000, so you have the discipline to tell yourself no when necessary. And this is really the ideal phase for any beginner, because you've kind of already gotten over that hump of like starting something new. You've now developed a habit. But the last phase that I really want to talk about, and this is the phase where I've needed to show myself a lot of grace in, it's the relapse phase. So like everything well you've been doing, you like really just fudge it all up. But really, it's not really like you. Sometimes it really is the simple fact that life happens and it relapses you into those poor money behaviors that you had when you first started this. And it's not because you're like just a terrible person. You just didn't anticipate something terrible happening. So I'll give you some story about me. So I started this journey back in 2018. I saved my $1,000. I wasn't fully like vested, but nevertheless, I had my $1,000. I was making payments on my bills. I paid off like 4 credit cards. I cut up my credit cards. I shredded them, guys. I was serious. But then I randomly had to move due to like a plumbing issue with my last apartment. Moved into this 2-bedroom apartment, couldn't afford it on my own, ran into financial issues again. I had built up my $1,000 again, only to relapse because I had to move again because the landlord was trash. She wasn't fixing anything. I had roaches. There was like termites. I didn't have hot water for over a month. So that $1,000 I had saved up, I ended up having to move out again. So that like put me in a damper again. Relapsed. Didn't have $1,000. Wasn't snowballing my debt. Was just really trying to stay afloat. Which I totally understand somebody who may be in that position where they just don't really see a way out. It's really hard to stay hopeful, especially when you relapse, because you would have seen yourself do so well and conquer, but I think like a lot of shame builds up, and it just makes you feel defeated. So if you are watching this video and you've been like following a financial plan that works for you, but like you relapsed into like getting more debt, when you were getting out of it, like just give yourself a lot of grace, because I definitely paid off 4 credit cards and then chose to get 2 more and get into more debt, and it was really like me at the end of the day not being ready to move abruptly. And I swiped that card after I got out of debt. After I got out of credit card debt, I ended up getting back into credit card debt. And there's like no feeling like doing something right for so long that works for you and then accidentally falling into the habits that landed you in a position to need to get out of debt. So like, yeah, it does happen. Relapse, I define that as like you've been paying off your debt aggressively. You hadn't accrued any more debt, but then something happened and you had to take out more debt despite paying it off so well. It happens. Just be really patient with yourself. So just to quickly recap for some of y'all who may have like fast forward this video, there are 6 stages to changing your behavior that a person will go through. The first one's pre-contemplation. The second one is contemplation. The third one is preparation. The 4th one is action. The 5th one is maintenance. And the 6th one is relapse, because stuff just happens. So what phase are you in? Go ahead and comment below and let me know what phase you're in. I definitely believe that I'm in the maintenance phase. I have my $1,000 saved up. I'm in the habit of paying off some bills. Although I did pause my debt snowball, which I will make a video about why I chose to interrupt Dave Ramsey's baby steps. Maybe that'll be the next video. But yeah, I think I'm still in the maintenance phase. Some people will theorize and say that once you're in maintenance phase, you always stay in maintenance phase, but other people have believed that you can jump from one stage to the next. You can go from like pre-contemplation to contemplation, we know that, but you can go from like maintenance to relapse, or you can go from maintenance to pre-contemplation. That's kind of like up in the air whether or not that's true, but I think what matters most is like what stage you're in, and you recognize that, you acknowledge that, and you try to figure out what you can do once you're in those spaces. And that's what I was hoping to relay with this video. Go ahead and comment if you have anything to say below, but until then, y'all, Financial Finesser is logging out. Remember to finesse your finances and not your debt, y'all. Be easy. Bye.